I arranged with Johnson that evening to take Miss Winter to a quiet suburb and see that she lay low until the danger was past. For 6 days, the public were under the impression that Holmes was at death's door. The bulletins were very grave, and there were sinister paragraphs in the paper. My continual visits assured me that it was not so bad as that. His wiry constitution and his determined will were working wonders. He was recovering fast, and I had suspicions at times that he was able to move about more than he pretended, even to me. There was a curious secretive streak in the man, which led to many dramatic effects, but left even his closest friends guessing as to what his exact plans might be. He pushed to an extreme the axiom that the only safe plotter was he who plotted alone. I was nearer him than anyone else, and yet I was always conscious of the gap between. On the 7th day, the stitches were taken out, while the evening papers reported an infection. The same evening papers had an announcement which I was bound, sick or well, to carry to my friend. It was simply that among the passengers on the Cunard boat Ruritania, starting from Liverpool on Friday, was the Baron Adalbert Gruner, who had some important financial business to settle in the States before his impending wedding to Miss Violet de Merville, only daughter of etc. etc. Holmes listened to the news with a cold, concentrated look upon his pale face, which told me that it hit him hard. "Friday," he cried. "Only 3 clear days. I believe the rascal wants to put himself out of danger's way. But he won't, Watson. By the Lord Harry, he won't. Now, Watson, I want you to do something for me." "I am here to be used, Holmes." "Well then, spend the next 24 hours in an intensive study of Chinese pottery." He gave no explanations, and I asked for none. By long experience I had learned the wisdom of doing what I am told. But when I left his room, I walked down Baker Street, revolving in my head how on earth I was to carry out so strange an order. Finally, I drove to the London Library in St. James Square, put the matter to my friend Lomax, the librarian, and departed to my rooms with a heavy volume under my arm. It is said that the barrister, who prepares a case with such care that he can examine an expert witness upon the Monday, has forgotten all his forced knowledge before the Saturday. Certainly, I should not like now to pose as an authority upon ceramics, and yet all that evening, and all that night with a short break for rest, and all next morning, I was sucking in knowledge and committing names to memory. There I learned of the hallmarks of the great artist-decorators, of the mystery of cyclical dates, the marks of Hung Wu and the beauties of Yung Lo, the writings of Tang Ying, and the glories of the primitive period of the Song and the Yuan. I was charged with all this information when I called upon Holmes next evening. He was out of bed now, though you would not have guessed it from the published reports, and he sat with his much bandaged head resting upon his hand in the depth of his favourite armchair.